Hey everybody, it is Travis Young, and today we are going to be talking about the power of your association. And so I've been thinking a lot about things that limit us, and one of the things that I think limits us the most without us actually even being aware of it is the power of our association. Darren Hardy wrote a book called The Compound Effect, and in it he talks about how a study was done. And after the study was over, the consensus was that the findings were you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. So I want you to take a minute. I want you to take a few minutes to reflect and think about the relationships that you have, the relationships that you're in, the people that you surround yourself with every single day. I want you to think about how they live. I want you to think about how they treat the people who they interact with on a day-to-day basis. I want you to think about how emotionally stable they are, how they make their decisions, why they make their decisions, what their values, what their goals are. And I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want my life to reflect the average and the sum of the 5 people I hang around with the most? I'll let you think about that for a second. Because there's things you need to know. I'm gonna list some things. Hope, fear, courage, intimidation, anxiety, depression, joy, peace, calmness, stillness, compassion. All these things, see, this is the thing. The power of your association not only affects the way that you make decisions on a day-to-day basis, but your life will also reflect the emotions, the way that people live on a day-to-day basis. So if you are in environments, if you're in atmospheres of how people act, and you find that you are depressed, you find that you have anxiety all the time, you find that you have stress all the time, I want you to know something. You can change that. You have the power to change that. And quickly, I'll just touch on one more thing. Brené Brown wrote a book called The Gifts of Imperfection, and in it she finds out that the difference between happiness and joy is happiness is dependent on the circumstances we find ourselves in, and joy is dependent on the state that we view ourselves. And she talks about how joy is not dependent on circumstances, but it's dependent on how you have decided to be. And so that plays into emotions as well. But if you don't know you can control that, then the power of your association, the environments you find yourselves in, the emotional things that you feel will be a reflection of this. It'll be a reflection of the people you choose to surround yourself with. And so I want you to ask yourself, why do you make the decisions that you make? Why do you act the way that you do? Why do you talk the way that you do? Why do you make financial decisions the way you do? I want you to realize that it is because of this. It is because of the sum of the 5 people you hang around with your most. And your mindset is like the people who you hang around with the most. So you're saying, Travis, okay, this and this and this goes on, and I don't like this. How do I change it? It's not, well, I would say it's easy, but it's not. The thing is, what you will have to do is you have to find new friends. You have to find people who you want to hang out with, who are living the way that you want to live. And you see that's hard because that's uncomfortable and that requires change, and that's something that we don't like to do on a day-to-day basis. But if we do it, we elevate ourselves and our relationships that we have, and we're able to actually transform and change the way we live, which makes us better people. Which is exciting to me. That is so exciting to me that we can actually do that. We can make choices. We can do things and create habits in our life that are positive because of the people we choose to surround ourselves with. And so I want you to understand this. I want to challenge you to do this. To find people that are living the way that you want to live and surround yourself with those people. Whether it's people who are courageous in their faith, whether it's people who are making decisions about money and living without the constraints of having that be a problem. If all the time you see them they're happy and joyful. Figure out how they do that, and the best way to do that is to get around them. If you surround yourself with people who are happy, who make good financial decisions, who are living a life where they don't have to worry about money, they have positive relationships, their marriages are thriving and amazing, you too can have that, but your requirement to do that is you're going to have to change your association. You're going to have to change this. The power of your association. Association has power. And so I want to challenge you guys. Find people who are living the way you want to live and pursue them to the point where they're willing to teach you what they know. And your life will change. Your life will transform. Because so many of the things we do on a day-to-day basis, we think are a reflection of our own values and decisions, but they're not. They're based on what our association is like. We do things because other people do things. Will Smith said, I buy things I don't want with money I don't have to impress people I don't even like. Why? Because everybody else is doing that. Everybody else is buying a house. Everybody else is financing a car. Everybody else is making decisions because that's what everybody else is doing. If you want to change your life, you have to change your life. Because if you don't change anything, nothing ever changes. It's not hard. It's not complex, but it requires change. It requires growth. It requires you to be uncomfortable with the circumstances that you are in, and you choose to go find new people so that you can elevate yourself. Don't live your life on purpose by accident. What does that mean? Don't do things just because everybody else is doing them. Don't live your life just because that's the way people are doing it. Live your life on purpose, on purpose. Don't find people with similar interests and hobbies and just build your life around that. Find people who share similar values and goals and ways they want to live their life. I'm not saying don't hang out with people. I'm not saying don't do this, don't do that just because you have a good time. But become intentional on how you choose to live your life, because when you do that, your life will change. And so that's what I want you to know. The power of association is an incredible thing. It's a dangerous thing too. But if you want to reflect, if you want to change the way that you live, if you want your environments to be filled with joy and hope, compassion, freedom, financial freedom, like whatever, just pick a way that you want to live and find people who are doing that. And that's how you will be able to find peace within yourself, because you're now living the way you want to live instead of just the sum of the 5 people who you hang around with the most. So go out there, find people who are living the way you want to live, surround yourself with them, change the way that you live so that you can be living the life you want. Go out there and grow. I love you all. Peace out.